Hello, hello. How are you today?
Hi, good. How are you?
Doing wonderful, thank you. It's an honor to have you on with us. It's such a special movie, and we're so excited to tell everybody to see it. But when you get a script like this, and this is a true story, and there's some amazing real lines in there, it's got to be something that kind of touches you, and you think, oh, I have to do this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. When a job also carries some sort of meaning and you're hoping that, it might have an impact on people, then you definitely want to be part of it. You want to be part of something that remains in history. And it doesn't just, it doesn't just entertain, but it also asks questions. And that's what this movie does. So yeah, absolutely. That was
Yeah, for sure. And I've done a lot of obviously a lot of films, a lot of television, and I could say a lot of those have meaning in their different ways, and you hope people will find something human in all of them, relatable. This one I think carries a kind of weight purely because of who we're talking about, Mother Cabrini, and what she did in her life. It's pretty remarkable. And when people see this movie, they'll really get it.
Yeah, and there's a great line in there about that we can serve our weakness or we can serve our purpose. And do you feel like that sometimes that our purpose comes to us within our art? Even though we're not able to save the amounts of people or the kinds of do those kind of wonderful big things. Sometimes we can help people through what we do as well, right? Which is a big blessing.
absolutely. But when we talk about purpose, we talk about a very ancient concept, a Greek ancient
Mhm.
concept of your call in life, regardless of whether it's science or art or helping others or be a teacher, anything that is a purpose is your call, is the reason why you want to be alive. And that's against all weaknesses that you might have, and you have to overcome those to understand it, to find it. And once you found it, then you need to follow it. So absolutely, in any form, in any way.
And I think part of what you're saying also, and I've said this before, um, people think, like you said, we need to do big things. We're never going to do things like most of us, like Mother Cabrini did. But I'll bring in just Alexei Navalny, the Russian, who said that there's no shame in doing small things. The shame is in doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's,
Thanks for that quote. Yes,
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
beautiful.
yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, that's beautiful, and people, we'll look at this and they'll think, oh, well, I want to tell great stories as well, and they've been looking up to what you've been doing for years anyway. So, what kind of advice would each of you offer to someone that wants to do what you do?
To do what we do, as in
Yes,
like,
mhm.
as
Yes,
being actors, you mean?
yes. Hmm.
Oh, wow. That's a very difficult piece of advice to
Well,
give.
listen, we're asked to do all different kinds of things,
Yeah.
and some have more meaning to them to others. Really, the experience of working together sometimes is the biggest reward,
Mhm.
and you hope that that experience and everything that you bring to it um, will somehow be there when people get to take part in watching it.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Just be part of the storytelling.
Yeah,
We need stories.
yeah,
Just tell
Yeah.
stories
yeah,
in which we could recognize ourselves, and
yeah,
you're there.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my co-host Drew Pearson, one of our great Dallas Cowboys, caught the Hail Mary, went in the Hall of Fame. We're so happy for him. Different Hail Mary meaning, but he wanted me to make sure I asked each of you your Hail Mary moment, which is that moment in your life or career where you just had to go for it and it worked out for you. What do you suppose that was?
The moment.
Well, just for me personally, in terms of my work, at one point I said, the first movie I ever did was Inside Moves, never done movie or TV. And I said, I'm never going to do television. I did 10 years of television after that. And at that time when I was doing it, it was very difficult to make that transition out of television and into movies. Now it goes back and forth. At that time, it was really hard. And my wife, thank goodness, with our three little children, stuck by me. We went through a very difficult time. She just, put her faith in that it was going to happen. And there was a lot of stress on our family. And eventually it worked out. But it was a spooky time. And I'm grateful to her.
Yes, love that.
I don't know. I think I always I never I always banned soap operas.
What?
A soap opera. There's a very famous soap opera running in Italy. This is very funny because this thing has been going on forever, for years. It goes on every night, and I always said to myself, I will never do that. This is not something I want to be able to, I don't even want to be associated with it. I ended up doing 3 years. It was the best time of my life. It was so much fun, and I played twins. So it was, so, and they helped me very much afterwards because, it was work.
Yeah.
Well, I love that both of you went for it, and here you are. Thank you for bringing us this wonderful movie, and look forward to talking to both of you again sometime very, very soon.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Well, when did you first become aware of this story? Because it's such an incredible story that not as many people know that need to know, right?
Yeah, I think I first heard about her when I read the script. Because literally, I didn't know anything about her. And they sent me the script I think we were right in the middle of COVID. It was COVID times. So we shot the movie. I keep forgetting, but we shot the movie at the peak of COVID. So I don't know how many millions of dollars we had to spend on all the COVID protocols. But it was around that time, 2020, when I got the screenplay, and I was very, shaken by her life, because I was amazed that I didn't know anything about her, and knowing of what a great impact her life had in the world.
And there's so many great moments in this movie, and so many great lines, and where she says that we could serve our weakness or we could serve our purpose. And do you feel like this is your purpose in doing films like these, that can touch the spirit and make people think differently or maybe act differently?
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, because that was the line that grabbed me to make the movie. That's what I knew when I read that line. That's when I knew. I was like, I'm making this movie because I face that question every morning. I faced it this morning.
Yeah,
Constantly face that question, and the more, it's almost interesting. The more you try to serve your purpose, the more your weaknesses show up. And it's like, hey, don't forget about me. So it's a decision that we have to make constantly. Almost on an hourly basis. So, that, like you said, she spoke with such conviction, with such power. All of the lines on the film, the majority come from herself, lines that we found in letters and books and so on. So it's just, she was a powerful voice.
Absolutely. And so people are looking up to you and they're saying, I want to tell powerful and important stories. What kind of advice would you give to someone who wants to follow in your footsteps?
Well, I do think there's a lot of powerful stories out there. And I do think there should be a balance in life. Everything should be a balance. And if you're going to go buy junk food, there should be an aisle of healthy food, right? And it seems right now that the stories that are being told by other filmmakers, and I don't want to be judgmental, but it almost feels like they're all of the same kind of, pattern. And I feel like, there should be a little balance. It's great, the movies that are being made today, but also there should be more movies about, real heroes, people that sacrifice their lives for others, or stories of, there's so many powerful stories that have been untold, and it's just a matter of, daring to go, because a lot of the times those stories, the first thing you're going to hear is like, well, who wants to see that movie? And we can be surprised of, there's the amount of audience that are hungry for films that, celebrate life in many ways.
Well, yes, and I know that people are hungry for a story like this, so we really, really appreciate your time today and great answers, and I look forward to talking to you even more soon, because I know you've got so much more to offer us.
Thank you, and thank you for watching the film.
Yes, thank you.